Welcome, Xlanders. It is me, thank me later, showing off a little bit of that Hyde Park Ninja Pride. All right. It is February 20th, 2023. What up, Shaq? We got some our usual fan base in the house. Walk My Paws LLC, welcome. Pure Rolex from Romania, welcome. St. Lucie, we got some, we're talking about some stuff with you today. Our girl Sheriff Shaq, always in the house, much love. Dr. Nobi repping the 1111 NFT, welcome, brother. We'll definitely give a shout out. If you don't know, 1111nft.gallery, check it out. Speaking of, here's Rob Zilla, aka the Genesis artist for 1111 NFT and longtime listener. Galactus Buck in the house. What up, Galactus? I want a t-shirt like this. I know. Oh, I don't think I can show it very well. Look, on the back, it says Mint 1. Like, because they did like the first round. And so on the back, it has Mint 1, which is really cool. So shout out to the Hyde Park Ninjas for hooking me up. Yeah, no, it's legit cool. All right. So today is what they say, red letter day. I think that's actually a negative thing. Today's an important day in the world of UpX world, but also of Upland community. So if you're new to the stream, or maybe you're just catching up, maybe you got brought in because you saw the thing on Twitter about XNet. XNet is a node community, node network, which what that means for you is neighborhoods will often form nodes, and that's essentially a neighborhood that comes together as a community. They have certain aspirations of development or utility, functionality. There's usually a theme or collective idea that go along with it. Now, there are a couple other node networks out there, and they're pretty dominant. And then there's been a lot of independent nodes that have been operating for a long time and crushing it, honestly, absolutely crushing it. And so we decided, well, hey, why don't we get the best of the best to start with? We're gonna grab some of our favorite nodes who are really heavily focused on layer 2 development, right? So this is the differentiating factor. And actually, I'm gonna go ahead and present window. Here we go. Boom. Oh, I don't like my background on that. Okay, fine. We'll just do this. That'll work. Okay, that works too. All right. So XNet is a node network that we are putting together. It starts today. So there are going to be 6 founding nodes, and we're going to introduce all 6 of them. Likely you've heard of all of these because, spoiler, they are some of the biggest, best nodes in the game. That is why we reached out to make them founding members. And so each one was chosen for a very specific reason. And don't worry, if you're like, well, I have a node, I want to be an XNet, we're going to tell you about how you can get into it. Here it is. This is now free to share. I know I did like a little cheeky sneak preview of it at some point last week, but it wasn't finalized at that point. It is finalized now. What up, architect in the house? This is finalized now. So we have 6 founding nodes. I'm going to leave you a second to just take a look here because, yeah, Cheers is right. We got Portage Park. If you don't know who Portage Park is, you're probably just not playing Upland. Like let's just be honest. Because when you talk about top performing nodes in Upland, you can't not talk about Portage Park. And we're going to go over some of their accomplishments and accolades here shortly. Next up, we got Creedmoor. If you've been following our saga, you know Creedmoor, we actually did the Spooktacular Race With event last year, raised over $5,000 for Child Mind Institute. Fantastic node out of Queens. Cannot wait. They are an extremely fun group. Lots of talent there, artists, creativity, huge focus on layer 2. And I can't wait for that. Alamos Square. This one, no pun intended, is close to my heart. Their theme is the heart of San Francisco. I think heart of Upland is what it started with. But they were they were the first community-built neighborhood. In April 2020, you probably don't know him because he's not around too much anymore, but a good friend of mine, and well, actually, I mean, we met through Upland. His name is Choina, and he founded kind of the Alamo Square community. He had this concept before neighborhood contest, before property development, before anything. He's like, hey, I really like the layout of this neighborhood, Alamo Square. I'm going to get some OGs together and let's buy this neighborhood and then do something cool with it. And that was the first time that has ever happened. Like he was the pioneer in that space. Not that it's necessarily an overly revolutionary concept of, hey, let's come together and build this area up. But there is no other first. That is the first community neighborhood, bar none. So excited to go, and we'll go into that a little bit more. Hyde Park Ninjas, Hyde Park, LA, incredibly hot right now. We've seen the likes of mega whales like Dizzy Diskey buying up hundreds of properties and building on them aggressively. We are going to see multiple layer 2 projects coming out of that node with a focus on martial arts and maybe some block explorer battling, huh? Trust me, Hyde Park, we'll be talking about, I mean, they're going to be a topic for a long time. Then we have the Poker Hand node from Viva Las Upland. So shout out to the one and only St. Lucie. You've probably noticed he's been rocking some of the poker themed art from 1111 NFT, which fire. And they are actively developing, and I'm going to do a preview. We have a video, a clip that I'm going to save for the end of their X carts. So they are making a go-kart themed layer 2 project, and it is cool. And so we have some alpha footage of that. So be sure you stick around because you're not going to want to miss it. It's really cool. And then last but not least, and this one might be newer to some people from a brand perspective, However, it's not new in the sense of the powerhouse that is the Kansas Castle. So Citadel, Kansas City is home of UCC, Upland Construction Company, UMC. I'll have to check I don't want to say the wrong acronym for them. But this is Mass Chef, DAC. This is their home base. This is going to have high visibility with URL, high visibility. I mean, UCC. So I personally use UCC exclusively when I rent Spark. So Bones Balboa, the Encino Eye, every project I've ever done, I've used UCC. The Upland Construction Company is unlike anything else because it's not a Spark exchange. You negotiate essentially a flat rate to have your entire. It's really designed for large scale developers. So, which spoiler is a core component of node development is multi-house builds. Right, doing ones and twos is great, but if you really want to scale your node in your neighborhood, you're going to need a lot of development. So by leveraging something like Upland Construction Company, I was able to build over 150 buildings, including I think a couple dozen apartments in a matter of weeks with very little effort from my part. So if you are a large scale developer, they have a white glove service that's second to none. I don't have to manage tiny queues. I don't have to worry about people staking, unstaking. It's done. We do contract. They go out, they find the buyer or they find the Spark renters. They manage all the payment. I do one large payment to them. They manage everything else. It's freaking awesome. Anyway, I could talk about UCC all day. So that's their home base. So they're probably less known from a community perspective, but they are a powerhouse in essentially the behind the scenes manufacturing utility, and they are working on a ton of cool stuff, which we'll talk about. I agree. I'm using them now for a project. They're awesome and organized. Yes, thank you, NFT Architect, who is also working on. Well, you'll have to tune in Wednesday if you want to know what NFT Architect is working on. I'll just say that. I'll give that teaser right now. Wednesday, we're gonna reveal what NFT Architect's been working on behind the scenes. So you're not gonna want to miss that. All right. So here it is. Take a screenshot, share it, post it, go nuts. Like, these are the founding nodes of what is going to be the absolute juggernaut of node networks inside of Upland. So I have a little blurb about each one, just so that way we can kind of get some intros and talk a little bit about each one of these nodes and why they're important, why they're relevant, some of their accolades, and also where they're located. So that way you can go see if you want to buy property there. Most of these are sold out. I think the only one that's not sold out might be Hyde Park Ninjas, the Hyde Park. Oh, I'm here and with cookies. Wait a second. Cookies. I thought we wanted sandwiches. Are we doing cookies now? I mean, did you bring enough for the class? Yeah. Wait, you can't just say cookies in chat. Like, you know, and to say, hey, there it is. Yes, Robzilla. I mean, I feel like normally it would go, well, no, that actually works. Because I'm not going to lie, after I have a sandwich, really of any kind, I almost certainly want cookies. Like the Girl Scout s'more cookies. Sorry, I could get on a tangent about cookies. I love me some cookies. Butter cookies. What? Oh my gosh. I want everything. I'm hungry. Sandwiches are for squirrel. Yeah, I know. Sandwiches. I'm always in the mood for a sandwich. Are you kidding me? Oh, those Thin Mints though. I literally ate an entire sleeve of Thin Mints the other day. I'm not gonna lie. I've been doing pretty good on my diet, but yeah, there might have been some sandwiches involved, but it ended in an entire sleeve of Thin Mints getting eaten. Kirinoko's, welcome. You're like, what is happening? I came here to learn about XNet, and we're talking about cookies and sandwiches. Is this a food stream? I have no idea. It usually does. Yeah, and spoiler alert, Thin Mints is kind of misleading. The cookies are thin, but you won't be if you keep eating them like I do. So, yeah. Anyway, squirrel. Let's talk about some founding nodes of XNet. First and foremost, we have Portage Park. They are by far, like, when there is a decorating contest, when there's any sort of node contest going on, they're the bar that everybody has to strive towards. That's what they've done. They've locked it down. There has been 3 major decorating contests so far. Halloween 2021, they won it. Halloween 2022, they won it. Winter 2022, spoiler, they took it home with the W. So they are absolute behemoths in this space. And I think we can learn a lot from how they organize. My goal is not necessarily, I think any node who wants to be competitive, we're going to work overall to kind of help strategize. And you're going to see a lot of that happening on the UpX podcast as well, with giving some node strategies. And we're going to put together some tools to help nodes be more competitive. However, it takes, and this is incredibly true, more cheese is 100% correct. It takes a lot of coordination and organization to be a Portage Park. That is not easy. So just because you have a neighborhood that's built out does not mean you're going to be able to compete with Portage Park. There's a lot that goes into it. And they have put in that effort time in and time out. Shout out to the mayor, Russell Envy, a.k.a. just treasure hunter extraordinary as well. So they will have, we're working with some multiple layer 2 projects on them. However, we did have a commitment, and we will come back to it, of a winter themed semi racing. So semis on sleds racing through Portage Park on their sanctioned URL tracks. So almost all of the neighborhoods here either actively have, I think Alamo Square might be the only one that doesn't actively have a URL track. But URL being semi-sled racing, yeah. Semi-sled racing that may or may not shoot presents at houses. Anyway, I got way over ambitious at the end of last year pushing that felt track. Yeah, the felt track. That's true. All right, I missed some comments here. Levin McDonald, Pancake Tuesday tomorrow. What? Is that a thing? I know Taco Tuesday. I didn't know Pancake Tuesday was a thing. How's it? It's going great. It is beautiful out. I'm going to do a hard stop at 6 because it's going to be hopefully a beautiful sunset. It's currently 76 degrees here in Dallas. Gorgeous day. Going to try and go get some of the last of the sunlight at the end of the podcast. Yes. All right. Next, Creedmoor. So Creedmoor is a a concentrated area in the larger Bellerose of Queens. You'll notice they have a distinct build that all of the buildings are kind of wonky. It's based around a psychiatric ward that's actually there in real life. They're doing a lot of very Halloween-centric stuff. And in fact, in 2022, they gave Portage Park a run for their money, coming in an incredibly close second place. And that was really, they were pretty new to the scene. So they hadn't been fully built out. Bellerose hadn't really had as many structures as it does now built out. And so I think Creedmoor has a real chance. 2023 is going to be an incredibly competitive year. And I'm really looking forward to seeing that battle of behemoths for the next decorating contest. They also, as I mentioned at the top of the show, raised, we're part of our 2022 Spooktacular race, where we actually raced around Creedmoor and raised over $5,000 for Child Mind Institute, which is awesome. And it was so much fun that the Spooktacular race is actually going to be part of the alpha Steam release of UpX World. So you'll be able to play the Spooktacular race yourself. You're going to see the custom cars that were made. There's so much. If you don't know about the Spooktacular, go back, look it up. It's really cool and was an absolute amazing event. Yeah, no, really cool. So we're definitely going to see a lot more spooky Halloween themed from those cars. Ooh, daddy. They were based on the Series 1R variation of the Upland cars. And yeah, those custom skins will be available for purchase inside of UpX World at some point in the future. And because it was partnered with Child Mind Institute, among the winners who took home those skins, Child Mind Institute will actually be receiving passive revenue from those in-app purchases once it's stood up as well, forever. So this is part of that. If you've heard the phrase "perpetual good in the metaverse," which a good friend Dak is out there promoting, we're about that. We are very much perpetual good in the metaverse. We love that. It's a core tenet of who we are as UpX World. I want it to be a core tenet of XNet. All of the neighborhoods here, I think, have participated or donated in various charities or events across the board. It's an amazing community, a great set of team. Let's check out our next entries into XNet. Hyde Park Ninjas. These dudes are legit. These dudes are real life ninjas. Like, they actually run dojos and training, like MMA. They actually do MMA fight. Like, these guys are as authentic as it gets from a martial arts perspective. And they are bringing their love of martial arts to Web3. They're also kind of nerdy too. They like some D&D and some Magic the Gathering. So we're going to see some influences of some role-playing aspects in their game development, as well as authentic martial arts. And when I say authentic, I'm not talking, oh, we're going to train it to do whatever. They bought... Oh, hold on 1 second. Somebody just pounded on my door. Give me a second. Sorry about. Oh, you know what? I should have put up my "Be Right Back." I have a "Be Right Back" thing. Sorry, I got somebody. No one was there. It was super weird. Here, look. I have a. Anyway, I should have put that up. I didn't because it freaked me out. Somebody was pounding very heavily at the door. I went out. There's nobody there. I guess I didn't get there quick. I don't know. There's no note or anything. Anyway, all right. So we're so distracted. Bring a frying pan just in case. Good point. Look through. Oh, I should have looked through the. Oh, I didn't do any of that. I did not. These are all really good things I should have done. Bring a frying. I did not do any of that. Hope you. Oh, I think I did. Oh, don't joke about that. It was a ghost. Aliens. Ding dong ditch. Maybe. I like aliens. Don't say aliens. That freaks me out. All right. So, Hyde Park Ninjas. When I say authentic martial arts, I'm talking truly authentic. They recently purchased a motion capture suit. And so they are going to wear the motion capture suit and actually record themselves doing the martial arts moves. So get a Ring camera. I'm in an apartment complex, so it's kind of weird. If like I normally have a lot more security, but like the apartment anyway, it doesn't matter. I agree. I like Ring cameras a lot. Motion capture suit. So they're going to actually do the moves, and those are going to be translated into the Xlander Ninja avatar. So incredibly authentic to the sports that they are, to the martial arts that they are representing. I'm incredibly honored to be able to represent that. I have cameras on my house. Just never know anymore. Yeah, I know. Probably a good idea. Honestly, it might have just been my neighbors because I got really loud and was like essentially screaming. So they probably like, if they're like trying to sleep next door or something, they're probably like, what is going on over there? Because that's how excited I am for XNet. So yeah. All right. So here we go. Also, they're going to have Hyde Park Ninjas is working on their own collectible NFTs. Which will add additional functionality into the Ninja game. They're heavily focused on Layer 2, and they're doing it in a really cool way. We'll be talking a ton about Hyde Park Ninjas moving forward. They're lucky they weren't there when I opened the door. That's for sure. All right. So next we have Alamo Square. Again, this one's personal to my heart. I do have my residence is currently Alamo Square. It was the first ever community coordinated neighborhood established in April of 2020 by Choina. As I mentioned, it's also home to the Painted Ladies. That's 7 landmarks. Now, they haven't announced the metrics for like how they're going to do neighborhood score. But you have to assume that landmarks are going to be, a fair good like bonus, you would think. So here's hoping that turns out well for Alamo Square, because that could be a huge boost to their community score. They are semi-competitive for as small as they are. They do, try to stay competitive in the content. And in fact, they were a Spud Wars finalist. So they were one of the 5 final neighborhoods in the Spud Wars, which was leading up to the launch of Spark. So what a great honor that was. Loved to see that. For their Layer 2, as you can see, so if you don't know, this symbol is actually the layout of Alamo Square, San Francisco. It's a handful of blocks around a massive park. It's gorgeous. I actually had the opportunity to visit Alamo Square in person last Halloween, and it's phenomenal. And so we are looking at building because of its shape. Does it look like a board to you? Maybe a Monopoly board. And right here, here, I've realized that I was mousing over not this. So this is the actual like layout of Alamo Square. It's a square with just multiple things. Right here is the painted ladies. So when you think about a Monopoly board, what's that? Park Place and Boardwalk? Correct. So it fits really thematic. So we're looking at creating a Monopoly style Unity board game. And that is in Alamo Square, San Francisco, which is very cool. All right. Our final two founding nodes are Viva Las Upland's The Poker Hand node, which is going to be bringing a lot of that Vegas look and feel and style to layer 2 and really honestly even layer 1. I know that they're working on bringing some stuff there as well, and Meta Ventures, the pub crawl, and we will be doing a lot with them. They are actively developing Xciting, which is a poker themed kart racing game. Poker Hand, oh my gosh, no, sounds like, oh hey Wedge, what's up? Yeah, I don't know how I missed you. I don't know how I saw, you know what, I saw you come in and I think the neighbor, yeah, there it was. And then at that point I was like, then my neighbor, I think, pounded. Anyway, there you go. Hey, all the love. All the love. Where's the purple hearts for our girl, Zoe Wedge Clown? All right. Dun, dun, dun. So they are in Paradise, Las Vegas. You know what? I don't think Paradise is sold out either. You weren't any louder than if you were just having a conversation with somebody. I don't know. I'm pretty loud. Well, plus I'm usually really quiet because I'm the only one here. So, and I don't really like watch my TV loud. So if the walls are, anyway. Paradise is far from sold out. So here we go. We have our second non-sold out neighborhood, Paradise. So if you want to get in on that node, there is still some availability. Let's see. Our mini node. Oh yeah, the mini node is sold out. So, and this is actually you know what? This is the second quote unquote mini node. We'll have to figure that out. I would love to be able to possibly, I know from like a reporting and everything from UpX World is based on neighborhood. But a lot of nodes like the Poker Hand node, Creedmoor, they are a subset of kind of bigger neighborhoods. Also kind of like Bones Balboa isn't really Balboa Lake. It's just like 153 properties in one corner. It's also not a node at all. Tune in Wednesday. So I would like to be able to get some reporting for kind of the mini nodes, especially, you know, if you're in XNet. I really want to be able to highlight like your core area, because I think that's going to have drastically different stats than the rest of it. Because actually, you know what? Now that I think about it, I don't think Bella Rose is probably not sold out either. We can check all that, and in fact, we will check all that. We'll pull up UpX World, and we'll look at all the stats of all the neighborhoods. Well, these 6 at least. Last, certainly not least, is Citadel, Kansas City, aka the Kansas City Castle, which is Upland Metacorp. That's what it was. It's sold out minus a couple of FSAs. Well, there you go. So find an FSA buyer and get in while you can. It's a corporate headquarters of UMC, which is the Upland Metacorp, which includes the Upland Construction Company, Upland Bank, and the investment firm MetaFarm Holdings. So lots of big businesses involved. Like they're very structured towards like corporate big things, big plans coming out from Dak and Mashef and the whole team that's over there leading it. I'm in Citadel. Nice. I don't even think they give away some properties every once in a while. I have to go check. Hey, Golden 1852. Welcome to the stream, brother. Or sister, I guess. Sorry, don't mean to assume anything there. Dak and Mass are cool AF. That's true. Facts. Dak and Mashef are two of the coolest compadres out there. So really excited to have them in. They have luxury housings, a URL sanctioned racetrack, and the Llama Comedy Club. So lots of great stuff. And they are working on, we'll be working with them on the Upland Racing League arcade experience. So this is where you will be able to race with any car inside of Upland, even if you don't own it, through an arcade style race on URL sanctioned tracks. This is going to bring incredible accessibility to these races and to these cars that for most people just wouldn't be accessible. For instance, the Series 1R, there's only 50 of those, well, the base models, 50 of the Series 1Rs in the game. There's a handful of like specialized Series 1s as well. But for the most part, no one's going to be able to race with those. They're very hard to even get. There's a couple leagues forming around them that are going to be probably some very high purses and buy-ins. But we wanted to bring a more obtainable alternative, and that's going to be where the arcade comes in. You'll be able to pay. We haven't decided on the amount, but let's say 100 UpX to do a race, something small, 100 UpX, maybe 1,000 UpX, nothing crazy. And that will allow you to race using a Series 1R. And then depending on standings, maybe you can even win some of that UpX back or make UpX if you do well enough, say in a big tournament or something. But you won't have to actually own any of the cars to do so. Now, the trick there is, and I'm going to go on a little UpX World tangent here. The trick here is that all of the revenue generated through things like the arcade would then help generate revenue for the node or the cars. So the Series 1Rs would actually then get passive income against the usage of their cars in the arcade experience. You don't need to stake them or anything. So we're actually doing a completely different architecture, much like how Upland has passive revenue on your properties, right? Including visits. So imagine each visit on your property is kind of like a race done with a car that you own. And so you'll get passive income against your cars. And we're actually working on passive income against all of your layer 1 assets in Upland and other blockchains. And we did some rough calculations. I don't even want to really share it, but like the potential earnings on these NFTs become quite significant when you look at, say, just standard arcade racing with a standard number of people with a fairly low entry rate. It gets kind of nutty. Like we're talking quickly into the millions of, disclaimer time, all the disclaimers, not financial advice. Do not go out and buy a bunch of Series 1Rs based on the projected income, blah, blah, blah. But we were just doing some rough numbers, and all of a sudden, like these cars were earning millions of UpX a month. Like it escalated so quickly. We were like, holy cow. Like, can you imagine the value of an asset that earned, say, 1 million UpX a month for you? Like, that's a game changer. And that's what we're looking to do. That's why the Citadel is so important to us, the Kansas City Castle. Plus, also, apparently, when the construction's all done, it will actually resemble a castle. So I'm really looking forward to that. As many of you know, I'm a big fan of creating art with buildings. All right, here are some FAQs that I quickly threw together. If you have other questions, throw them in chat. I'm happy to answer them around XNet or anything. So who controls the nodes? The node control and ownership stays with the existing owners. So nothing changes there. XNet is not trying to add any extra controls, regulations, anything like that. It's more of a community of nodes. It's not really, there's not going to be a major like governing. We might have some things that we would like people to do, like when we set up an announcement channel. So I'm going to actually set up an XNet announcement channel that on the UpX World Discord. And I would ask all of the participating nodes to follow it in their own Discord announcement channel. And what we can do there is we'll actually allow the nodes, if it's something that is relevant across, say, multiple things, like if they're running a charity event or if they are doing some sort of contest or promotion, we will then put it on our announcement channel. And then with the idea that that will permeate all of the network nodes as well. So you can see that, by being a part of XNet, your reach and your actual community is significant because you'll have access to everything here. Is there a fee to join? Which honestly I hadn't even thought about until somebody asked me, and but the answer is no. There's no fees. It's nothing like that. However, it is a selective process. So we are not just going to accept any node into this. We are working on a registration process for it. And there will be some questions. Well, it's not, if you're a brand new node, especially if you're a newer community member, we will likely ask you to get, some track record, maybe a threshold of buildings, things like that. We'll have to look at what that is, but there's already a backlog. I can think of at least 10 like name recognizable nodes that have approached to join XNet. So we will start rolling out the membership program hopefully this week and get some of those members in to start growing XNet even more. Why should you join? Well, we're going to have perks and benefits, which I have a slide on. And how do we join? Well, right now, like I said, we're still in the process of defining that. However, just contact me, thank me later. Just find me on Discord, ping me, and be like, hey, I would like, here's the node. And especially if I know the node and like you guys have a good, like if you have an established community, if you've been around for a while, you have good reputation, likely you won't have an issue. It's going to be those other ones, like I said, that maybe aren't as established or are run by teams that I'm not super familiar with. But the nice thing is, as XNet, I can now cross vet, right? So everything we do is cross collaborative. So if somebody comes and says, hey, maybe they get recommended by Portage Park, right? So they're like, hey, Russell will vouch for me, right? Or whoever it is. And I go, okay, let me go talk. Like, hey, Russell, these guys say this is a node. And if Russell's like, yeah, no, they're good, like, and they meet all the other criteria, like, that's cool. So if you are one of these nodes, if you know one of these nodes, et cetera, make sure that comes up so that way I can help cross vet it if I'm not directly familiar with you. All right. Well, I just peed a little bit. My Bluetooth reconnected. I have no idea what that was, but that freaked me out. Loud noises. All right. So here are some perks. I just threw these together. This is not an all-inclusive list. So priority development of layer 2. So the meta phase, if you're not familiar with the meta phase, that is the if you've seen like the Xlander flying around blowing up buildings, the Bones Balboa, those things. Hold on. Now the sun's going down a little bit. Let me hit these. There we go. that's a metaphase. So actually having your neighborhood mapped inside of Unity with fully interactive, like all the buildings and all of that, like that's your metaphase. So that, you'll get priority. All of the XNet communities will get priority there. If we're doing things like charity events, like we've seen with the Spectacular, like the winter, the XNet community will get priority in all of the layer 2 stuff that we are doing. So that is a massive perk because we are a layer 2 focused, like that's our differentiating factor. Like this isn't just hey, yeah, let's all share social media. As you can see, that's a perk for sure. Multi-server Discord visibility. We want to set up a centralized announcement channel. So, if it's something specific to your node, we probably don't announce it everywhere. But if it's something that is, again, a charity event, a bigger promotion, we will set up a central announcement channel that those node leaders can post to, or filter through me and I can post to it. And then that will hopefully, all the member nodes will have that tied to their announcement channel. So that way it permeates across a large cross section of the Upland community. Social media as well. So we're going to see cross promotion specifically through the UpX World channels. We've seen this Hyde Park. I mean, you can't get any more noticeable than how aggressively Hyde Park has been growing after all of the talk of layer 2 and what Keith and Mike are doing to actually lead that node. And we are going to work so much like I kind of consider it like if you've ever had like one of those like nationwide contests where it's like the parent company like says, hey, we're going to give away 1 million UpX, right? Well, all of these nodes like probably can't give away 1 million UpX, but if we pull it together and do a bigger promotion that's across all of them, we can actually get larger promotions, contests, even things like if we say strike a deal with UCC to say, hey, can we give XNet members a 10% discount, or even maybe give some node packages away, probably sponsored by UpX World. But, what does that look like? So we will work with extra perks. Also, just things like voice of the player. So for those of you who don't know, like I talk to the Upland team fairly regularly. I've been a community member now for over 3 years. I started back in January of 2020. And I know that the Upland team regularly. Dirk was my Valentine. He didn't know it was Valentine's Day when we scheduled our meeting last week, because apparently they don't celebrate it in Germany, even though he lives in the States. Anyway, so having access to be able to escalate, and like I really do want to work with these community leaders. These are people that I have a tremendous amount of respect for. These are nodes that have worked really hard to build their brands and to really get established. And so if there are things that make sense to escalate, like I want XNet to be a pathway to that for higher visibility of in-game issues, out-of-game issues, layer 2, whatever it is, right? Like this, strength in numbers kind of thing. And XNet is going to be that. And we are going to have a lot more to come. So definitely stay tuned on that. Next, here we have stats. Not gonna lie, work in progress means I literally ran out of time, but we will go look at stats real time here. So there is current node count of 6. We'll get the total number of buildings and Spark hours invested. What else do you guys want to see? What kind of stats would get you excited to know about XNet? Let me know in the comments below, and we'll try and include them in future slides. All right, I think that was, yeah, so member nodes, TBD. We're not going to announce any member nodes today, just the founding nodes, those 6. However, I can tell you that I have a queue of more than a handful that will definitely be announcing probably this week if I can get everything worked out. All right. So next, how are we doing? We got 8 minutes left. Jeez, I blame that door knocker. That door knocker threw me off. I mean, not that I was, completely focused anyway, because I'm squirrely as of late. I blame the Adderall shortage. What were we gonna do, fam? Oh, we were gonna pull up Upland World. That's what we're gonna do. Aliens. Oh, I used to have, when my hair was longer, I could do the aliens, but my hair is not as long as it used to be. Aliens. Ninja. Wait, of course. It was ninjas. That's why there was no one in the hallway when I opened the door. There's an antibiotic shortage in Sydney. Well, that's way worse. I just get distracted easily now. I'm not going to die. That's scary. Well, stay safe. Present, share screen, window. Where is Upland World? I haven't had antibiotics in over 10 years. Wow. Well, that, I guess, does that mean like if there was cannibals, you would be like in like free range chicken equivalent? I don't know. That kind of got weird. Sorry. Squirrel. So if you haven't been to the data mines, please visit. This is the data mines, Upland World, free range cheese. Yes. I would be a free range piece of meat. So you can come here. We are improving this on a weekly basis. We have an amazing team that's updating it. Make sure that you let us know if there's any bugs, defects, things like that you find. Let's go check out some stats. Who do we want to check first? You know what? I'll do Queens. I need to get this alphabetized. I gotta add that to my backlog. Queens and Belarus. Now notice here, so I do want to point out a couple things because why not? Because we're on Upland World. All of these can be multi-select. So if you, nope, I lied. That's not. Is this one not? Sorry, stats is not multi-select. Ignore me. That's something else. Ignore me. I thought this was multi-select as well. It's not. This is alphabetical, which means Belarus. Multipass. That fantastic reference. First one to name that movie outside of More Cheese gets a test tube statue. Where's this from? Where's it from? Somebody, whoever does it gets a test tube statue, decor statue. Let's go. Multipass. Name that movie. You don't count. But fine. Dr. Nobi, Fifth Element. More Cheese. You both. There you go. You both get. No. You both get test tube statues. There you go. Offer me on any test tube statue mint 60 or higher, and it's yours. There you go. You both get test tube statues. Give it to Wedge Cloud. Okay, there you go. Wedge Cloud, it's yours. Offer me test tube on any test tube statue mint 60 or higher, and it's yours. All right. So here we have neighborhood statistics. We can see here. So if this is the first time seeing this, so it looks like Belarus is actually completely sold out now. It doesn't look like there's any unlocked FSA. So there's 536 buildings with 80 on construction, which is great. I feel like this is incorrect. You could go to the stats page and look at it. So here we have, this is by property count, and this is by the mint, UpX mint price. And this is important because when you're looking at this, so you can see how these two are fairly similar. That means the range of properties that's for sale is about equivalent or average size. If there was a larger for sale sliver versus the total mint, that would mean that there is a bunch of cheap properties. The smallest ones are for sale. If it was inverse, where there's a very small amount of properties for sale, but a larger pie here, that would indicate that the smaller properties are not for sale, but only the bigger, more substantial properties are for sale. So again, it's a great way to kind of look at, and when there's things that are actually for sale or unlocked, it's a great way to find out how much it would cost to mint out. So for instance, here, it probably cost, if you wanted to mint out all of Bella Rose before it was minted, it would cost you about, looks like 40 million UpX, which I think is kind of cool. Let's see here. We can go down and see the top property counts. Oh, I did not expect to see Big A up there, but Abdullah up there, 178. We got Sourcet. So now keep in mind that this is all of Bella Rose. It's not necessarily just Creedmoor. So Creedmoor is a small subsection of Bella Rose. Bella Rose is a much larger neighborhood. So I do want to call that out. Let's see who's owns Suprasa 58 VS 86. Hey, there's our girl Shacklin sitting at 17. I need to get some more. Hey, Rob Zilla, look at this. Oh, we got some OGs. Swedish Mogul, Texas Trader, Overhaul and Umbrella Boy, Braga 1966. Very cool. Yeah, I finally got a statue. I'm so glad you got a statue, Cheese. All right. Let's take a look at, and here, and again, I am showing some other features here of UpX World. So you can do a, so I do this here, and I like, since, okay, we'll do a donut just because we were talking about junk food. So here is buildings under construction. So these are things, and again, if you are an XNet member, actually, if you're just any community member, even if you're not an XNet node or you're not actually running a node, you just want a neighborhood evaluation. We do those regularly now on the UpX podcast, which is every Thursday. And so if there's a neighborhood you would like us to do evaluation on, shoot me a DM and we'll add it to the list. So here are some things that I'm looking at from a development perspective that we would then go, okay, well, what can we help focus on? Where do we need to maybe adjust or consider? So we can see here, so these are the completed buildings. So the vast majority small townhouses, not surprising there, 314. We see a lot of micro townhouses at 87. So really, like, unless that's the biggest building that fits on it, honestly, if you own in Bella Rose, don't build micro house. It's a waste of, it's not a waste of resources. The only thing that's a waste of resources is factories. Don't build a factory. If you're building, let's see, is anybody building a factory? Yes. There's some small and medium factories being built. Do not do that. That's a waste of resources. Honestly, it is. That's a whole nother discussion though. So we can see here, townhouses, 74. That's a surprising amount of townhouses. I am surprised at how many more, 74 townhouses is good. Like, that's a solid number. 24 apartments. And now I know, so depending on your neighborhood, that could also be a limitation. But there's 22 ranch houses. Anywhere that you can build a ranch house, you can definitely build an apartment. But you do need a variety. From a decorating perspective, you do need a variety in order to hit all of the categories. But yeah, hopefully, let's see, how many apartments are currently being built? Well, there's 12 being built now. That's fantastic. I love to see that. because that would get them up to 36. I'd like to see that, honestly, before Halloween in the 50 to 75 range. We have horribly small properties. Yeah. And so the way to develop, like, and I mean, this isn't necessarily new to anybody, but the way that you want to develop is find the smallest property that you can build an apartment on and build those first. Any of the properties that are big enough to house a luxury modern or luxury ranch, you probably want to reserve those for one of the luxury models. Now, that being said, those are they're not the least, because they still have the same variation count. So like 5 is just not a lot. But the problem is, if you don't have big properties, it's very hard to get this. But that just means that you just want to get like a handful of the Eldritch level decorations to really maximize your things there. Like this medium factory, who's ever building that should not be building that. They should be building a luxury home, because medium factories are bigger than a luxury home. Large showroom. So there's 2 large showrooms. Now, showrooms are not as bad. Showrooms are not as bad as a factory. From a competitive decorating perspective. And the reason that factories and showrooms and those are kind of like negative against decorating is they don't have decorations. It's the same reason, and in fact, I don't see any. What's the, anybody know what the name of the custom, what's the Queen's custom building? Anyway, whatever, they don't have any of the custom buildings here, which is fine, because the custom buildings don't have any, like the city specific buildings have yet to have any decoration. So they're kind of irrelevant. They're cool, and they will probably add a lot of value for the neighborhood collection, because that score, which hasn't been announced yet. But from a decorating perspective, currently they don't have decorations. So I try to avoid them. Yeah, so we got people building medium factory, 1 medium factory, small showroom. The showrooms aren't as bad because you can get a meta venture there. And while a meta venture isn't going to help your score necessarily, it will. Oh gosh, it's past 6 o'clock. It's all right. Alexa, what time is sunset today?
Sunset in Flower Mound will be at 6:18 p.m. today.
6:18. All right, I got like 13 minutes to get to my sunset spot. All right. Luxury modern. Oh, showrooms. The Meta Venture, which can host car showrooms or outdoor decor, that's still valuable. Those Meta Ventures are a reason for people to visit your neighborhood. It does give higher visibility in general. So a couple of showrooms is actually completely acceptable. Factories, however, even when they get the manufacturing gray dot, are boring. People aren't going to visit them. They take up a ton of room. You're way better off building those in a non-competitive neighborhood. Bella Rose is a competitive designer neighborhood. Do not waste it on construction. Even with having to move, say, cars or decorations from one place to another, I'm sure that there's a neighborhood that's close by that has bigger properties that you can burn a factory on. So anyway, and you shouldn't be building them now anyway, because they're going to be so far away from user created content. It's insane. Like, we're still go ask Morcheese and Ben how far they think it is, because how far backlogged they are just on the existing 8 people. There's 8 people in the beta. And I'm telling you, like, they don't have the systems in place to scale that yet at all. That's nothing against Upland at all. I'm just saying, like, I'm telling you, as one of the people in the beta, it's a very slow process. It's a very painful process because they're still working it out. And once it's all finalized, but we're months away from that, which means you don't need to be building these factories. And there's so many for sale. Also, if you want to define that, and this will be the last thing. I know. I love this so much. So if we wanted to do a property search, so, oh, and also, hey, Little Bob. Oh yeah, you can hide that. Yes, that's true. So Little Bob is actually one of the web designers for the UpX World site. So shout out to Little Bob and team. Brindle does the back end. Little Bob and team do the front end. It's very cool. I don't think there's not a Queens building yet. Oh yeah, they're still in development. It's not bad. It just don't get too excited. All right, so in here, look, I'll show you because you can come here. I love this feature. We do need to organize these a little bit better, but that's okay. So if I wanted to say small factory, medium factory, and I think there's a large factory. Okay. So I'm going to search every property. This is the power of UpX World. This is the power of the architecture that has been built by Brindle with the relational database. I'm going to search every single property in Upland, every city, every neighborhood for all of the small, medium, and large factories with a status of for sale. And then I'm going to hit submit. And oh, you know what? I should have sorted by price submit. So here we can see you can buy factories for $50. Like this is not, and in fact, then if I just want, what's the cheapest I can get? And now look at this though. This is a 42,000 mint property. So really you're getting it for like $8. Like, so, okay. So UpX wise, a little bit worse. However, again, you can see here, here's one Rio. Let's see. What size factory? I probably should have filtered out the factory size. A little bit better, but 199,000. I don't even know the size of that factory. But of course, you want to take a look at the factory. There's so many things with that. Also, in case you didn't know this, also the entire send history of every property is also available for all of history. So there you go. So many cool things. Please go check this out. The team has put a ton of work into it, and we really want to get your feedback, know what's working, what's not. If you've been stuck anywhere with a password reset, that should all be resolved now. Please go reset your password. If you have any login issues, yeah, I know I got to roll through. Then you can do that. All right. I'll catch you all back here Wednesday, same Xlander time, same Xlander place, right here, UpX World Live. We're going to have a special announcement for NFT Architect, who is an 1111 artist, who is a community member, who is really talented artist and creator. So you are not going to want to miss that announcement. It's going to be big. And if you have any questions, thoughts, comments, check us out on the Discord. Happy to chat back on the ship. All right. Until Wednesday, take care, everybody. Stay safe and enjoy your week. Cheers.